Welcome to the Settle Your Side Hustle podcast. I started this podcast for one very simple reason, and that is to show you what it's like to actually start a business. Going from a side hustle business that I'm doing while working the 9 to 5 to being full-time in my business, living the life that I want, controlling my time, controlling my hours. And the number one problem that I had with every podcast I listen to on the market is that either A, they don't actually get down to the nitty-gritty. They're not transparent with you, telling you about their actual struggles. Or B, they've already made it, so there aren't struggles to share. And that's why I decided to start this podcast right here, right now, as I've just transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship, so I can actually share with you the struggles as I go through them, and you can learn from my experiences while you're growing your business alongside me. Now, let's get into the show. What is up, side hustlers, entrepreneurs, business builders, and dream makers? Welcome to the Settle Your Side Hustle podcast, episode 20. This is a monumental episode, guys. We just made it to episode 20. Doing this 5 days a week means that this is now the first month in the books. Drop the mic. We have now done what most podcasts never do. Most podcasts never get past 13 episodes. But I thought, you know what? Let's not even mention that until we get somewhere superstar, which is solid month of 5 days a week, having an episode go out every single day. And one of the things that makes that really cool is that even though I love batching content, I'm actually making these every single day. And so, woohoo, we did it. 1 month in the bank. We did it. And thank you so much for coming along the ride with me. And honestly, it means a lot that you have stuck with it so far, that you have listened to the first 20 episodes, and you know, you got to be here at the beginning, and that's pretty cool because hopefully, you know, we do this for the next 5 years and we end up having a huge audience, and the vast majority of the people who listen won't have been here from the beginning, and that makes you special. Today, I want to talk to you about something that you've probably heard about before, but I promise you've never heard about it in this context, but you're going to a lot more in the future, okay? Have you ever heard of the Pareto Distribution? Maybe you've heard it as the 80-20 rule. Maybe you've heard that. So the 80-20 rule is actually an oversimplification of the Pareto distribution, but so is what I'm about to tell you. So it's simpler, but it's also more applicable, and that's the benefit. So the 80-20 rule says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. And that's magical to know, because that means you can stop doing 80% of the stuff and you can still get 80% of the results. And so that's the 80-20 rule. There's books on it. Everybody loves talking about it. Sometimes, very rarely, you'll find somebody who takes it one step further. And they say, you know what? If you've heard of the 80-20 rule, let me blow your mind, because actually the 80-20 rule is applicable to itself. Okay. So what does that mean? That means 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort, but 80% of those results come from 20% of those efforts. So that gets us what's known as the 64-4 rule. 80% of 80% is 64%, and 20% of 20% is 4%. So the 64-4, 64% of your results come from 4% of your efforts. Okay? And so sometimes you'll hear people mention that when talking about the 80-20 rule, but nobody, and I mean nobody, I've never seen it. Over the last decade, I have heard hundreds and hundreds of people mention the 80-20 rule, and I've heard maybe a dozen people, probably less, mention the 64-4 rule, but I've never seen anybody point out this simple truth. And part of it's because I actually minored in statistics in college, so I actually learned about the actual Pareto distribution. It's being oversimplified here. But part of it was just an aha light bulb moment where it's just like, wait, why does nobody ever mention this? Here's the kicker, guys. The Pareto distribution never stops. So you can always keep applying it to itself. So that means we can apply the same rule to the 64-4 rule. And I'm only going to go one step further, because even though you can go more steps, going one step further, in my mind, gets you to maximum utility. I think this is the most important step that no one ever talks about. Okay. So apply the 80-20 rule one more time. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. 80% of those results come from 20% of those efforts. 80% of those results come from 20% of those efforts. What we get is that 51.2% of your results come from 0.8% of your efforts. Translation: over half of all results come from less than 1% of all efforts. Okay? What does that mean? That means if we could simply identify what those efforts are, and when we could stop doing 99% of the stuff that we're doing and then do those that much more, then we could 64x our outcome. We could dramatically improve our outcome by not doing 99% of the tasks we shouldn't be doing and focusing on the one singular task that is getting us more than half of all of our positive results. Okay, so let's pull this in. How do we apply this? So I'll give you an example. I was having a conversation today with an individual who's going to remain nameless, who's a business owner, and I was talking to them about their marketing strategy, right? That's what I do, right? I'm a marketer and I help people figure out marketing. By the way, because I said it, let's mention this really quick. If you've never heard this before, I'm not surprised because most marketers don't even know what marketing is. Crazy, I know. Let me explain. Most marketers, most people tell you, we do done for you digital marketing, right? We're a digital marketing agency. And if you ask them, well, what is marketing? Then they're probably going to respond to you and say, stuff like SEO and email marketing and advertising and social media. That's not marketing. Those are tactics. If you have something like a sign promoting your service and you put that out there, that's branding. Okay. If you take that sign and you put it in front of people, so if you find a way to put it in front of people, then that's a promotion. If that has some virality to it, then that's some social clout, right? If it gets people interested in what you're doing, so then they read your sales copy or they get on a call with you, and then you promote whatever your offer is, and then they go and they buy it, that's sales. If all of that was planned, that's marketing. Marketing is the strategy, and everything I just mentioned are parts of the tactics. As a marketing consultant, fractional CMO, business coach, I really do. I focus in on spinning my world around these done-for-you marketing services, which are the tactics, but they always include the marketing strategy. That's the most important part. The most important part is always going to be the marketing strategy. The strategy. Okay. So I'm talking to this individual and we're trying to figure out, we're actually literally having this conversation where we are trying to figure out what is the 1% task they need to be doing. That's what we're laser focused on in this dialogue. Okay. And I tell them, quite frankly, they mentioned at one point, they show me the stack of business cards they got from networking events. By the way, their target, they have a target market, but anybody who is a business owner is somebody that they can potentially help. Okay. So they show me the stack of business cards they have. It's like 250, thick stack, right? And I tell them outright, you know what? If you reach out to every single person in that stack and you say, hey, I feel like it's been forever since we've connected. Let's get a cup of coffee. Let's have a Zoom call. Let's do a one-on-one. Let's catch up. And you do that to that entire stack of 250, then I am very confident that just by doing that, you are going to get the numbers you're looking for this month. Because what's going to happen is a certain percentage of those people are going to say, yes, I'd love to catch up with you. And then you're going to catch up with them. You're going to have a real dialogue conversation with them. And then a certain percent of those people, you're just going to make the invite. You say, hey, you know what? I'd love to see how we can help your business. Would you be interested in having a second call where we actually talk about how we could help you? And a certain percentage of the people are going to say yes to that invite. And then when you get people on that invite, the next call, you're going to have that dialogue and you're going to figure out exactly how you can help them. And you're going to say, you know what? I have a lot of ideas. I'm going to put together a proposal. Let's get on a call in 3 days. And I'm going to share with you what I come up with that's custom for you. And then you're going to have a certain percentage that say, yes, let's do that. And then you get on the last call and a certain percentage of people are going to say, yes, let's work together. Out of 250, if we just cut that in half each step, 250, let's say 125 say, yeah, let's get on a call. Out of that, let's say 62 say, yes, let's do a follow-up to talk about how you can help. Out of that, 31 are going to get on that last call to have a proposal presented to them. And out of that, 15 will say yes. You'll have 15 new clients. And I'm pretty sure 15 new clients are going to hit your numbers. I tell them that. And then I'm telling you, this is how they respond. They go, well, this is nothing. And then they pull out thousands of business cards. Like they have stacks and stacks and stacks of business cards. And I see this and I'm like, why aren't you rich? Here's why they're not rich. Ivan Misner says it. Success is the uncommon application of common knowledge. But what we just did in that interaction was we found a 1% task. Your 1% task is calling the people who gave you their business cards and asking them if you can connect. That's your 1% task. That list that big, what you can actually literally do is you can call 20 people a day every weekday, and you can cycle through that list forever. You're never going to run out of business. That's a 1% task. So the call to action to you is to consider not only what your 1% tasks are, but what are the 99% tasks? All the things that you're doing that you probably shouldn't be doing. And, maybe you start off with just saying, no, what are the 80% tasks? If 20% of the things I do get me 80% of my results, then let's start by just eliminating the 80% tasks. Start there. Move towards it. Now, the reason that I told you that this is not the last time you're going to hear about this is because starting next week, we're actually going to start having guests on the show. Ooh, exciting, I know. Guests are going to be on the shows on Fridays. Not necessarily every Friday, but we're going to have guests on the show on Friday. And the guests are going to be people who have had notably successful careers in their industries so that we can learn from them. And I'm going to ask every single one of them. And I know that's a big claim since I've never had a guest on the show before, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask every single one of them because it's selfish. I want to know, what is that 1% task? What is it? And before we go, guys, if you can make it, it would be so cool if you joined us on Monday, where I am doing a live training on how I got 927 customers in a single year. And more importantly, how you can do the same. Want to talk about 1% tasks? This entire training is filled with 1% tasks. So if you want to join that, I have a link for that in the description. That is our Monday, May 8th. 2023. This is our Friday call, so this is the last time I'm telling you about it. And if you're listening to this on a recording, past tense, then you missed the opportunity. I'm sorry, but otherwise, I'm going to invite you to join that. It's going to be super cool. And links in the description. Love you guys. Talk to you on Monday.